Right now, a lot of folks are working from home, and when your office is right down or across the hall from the kitchen, the temptation is there for stress eating and other bad habits. And this morning, Amber Gourley, the Disobedient Dietitian, is here to offer some advice on dealing with food during the pandemic. Good morning, Amber. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you, Chris?
I am great. Your kitchen looks beautiful there behind you.
Thank you.
But let's talk about that. We were talking a little bit off air there about that. A lot of folks are working from home, and the temptation is to do a lot of snacking that you normally wouldn't do.
Yeah, absolutely. When we have that direct access and a lot more free time, it's very easy to just walk in the kitchen, grab a snack, and then we add stress on top of that. And stress does tend to drive cravings, right, for salty and sweet types of foods. And so it's definitely something a lot of people are struggling with these days.
And stress, you know, we were talking to Dr. Shoba just a few moments ago about stress levels. And I think, you know, it's just human nature to be stressed out a little bit right now. And it's how you deal with that stress. And you can modify your diet to deal with stress a little better.
You can, and what a lot of people will end up beating themselves up over is the fact that they're craving more sugar, they're craving more salt. Well, that's a direct physiological response to stress. And so just recognizing that those cravings are probably a sign that you're stressed, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're angry,
right,
and utilizing some other tools or techniques to manage that stress, because at the end of the day, if you end up eating, you're going to end up more frustrated or more upset with yourself, which then is going to create a cycle. And we really don't want to get into that cycle if we can help it.
And when we're doing our grocery shopping, is there some things we need to keep in mind as far as, you know, we're going to, at least some members of the family are going to be at home? Are there some tips you can give us for when we're shopping for what we bring into our homes?
Well, obviously, if you do tend to go to the fridge, you know, snacking on more fruits, more vegetables, lots of fiber, those are great options to have just around the house. Again, you know, if you know that your tendency is the saltier foods or the sweet foods, not having those available, it is a good idea to just make those treats for every once in a while and not keep them stocked or on the counter where you're going to see them.
And for you, have you found out that have you been fighting that temptation as well to do a little more snacking?
So I actually have worked at home for quite a while,
right,
and a couple of things that I do is I just eat at regular times and really do try to stay out of the kitchen as much as possible and not eating at your desk. Because if you're eating at your desk, you're training yourself to, when I sit down, the body's going to say, I'm hungry, it's time to eat. So not eating where you work, really good tip for starting to kind of break that habit, or you not get into the habit to begin with.
What has been the big question since the pandemic began as a dietitian? What's been the big question from folks that are working at home that you've had to answer over and over again?
I really think it is just I have all the access to food. I feel like I'm eating more. And I would say a lot of it just really comes down to stress. We're more stressed than we probably have been in many of our lives. And just recognizing that food, it's not going to deal with the emotions that we're having with the pandemic, and finding other outlets is really the best thing you can do. Because I am seeing a lot of people saying, you know, I'm gaining weight, I'm eating all the time, and we really just need to deal with the emotions that are coming with this crisis and not turning to food to solve that, because at the end of the day, it won't.
And doing something, finding a hobby, exercising more, things of that nature, just getting out, maybe taking a walk, all those things can help will relieve some of that stress and get you away from that kitchen and that pantry.
Yep, absolutely. Yoga is a wonderful technique. And, you know, even if it's really stressful, even therapy is a really great option to help manage. Like we said, food, at the end of the day, we're just going to end up gaining weight. We're going to feel bad about ourselves. And we're already stressed enough. We don't need that on top of everything else, right?
Exactly. Lots of stress going on right there. If you had one piece of advice that you could leave with our viewers today when it comes to working at home and having access to food, what is that one piece of advice that one message you want to drive home to our viewers today?
Oh, goodness. I think it would be just trying to get into a pattern and a routine of regular meal times and really listen to your body and determine, are you truly hungry when you go to that fridge, or is it boredom, stress, anger, frustration, something else? And then, you know, close the door and find another outlet.
All right. Amber, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking some time from your kitchen today to talk about everybody else's kitchen today.
That's right.
All right.
Thank
Amber
you.
Gourley, the Disobedient Dietitian. We got some information for you right there on the bottom of the screen. Try to cut down on that stress a little bit and cut down on those snacks as well.